Hi everybody. Today we are starting chapter 3 in our textbooks. Our objectives for today are to understand lifestyle goals and factors and to differentiate between needs and wants. Okay, so lifestyle factors. Lifestyle factors are the things about your job that affect the way that you live your life. Okay, so what aspects of the career that you want are going to affect the way that you live? How is it going to it's going to help determine certain aspects of your life. There's 5 basic lifestyle factors that you're going to need to consider as you're choosing a career. The first is location. Where do you want to live? Are you wanting to live in a big city? Are you wanting to live in a small town? Where do you want to live? That's something that that's a lifestyle factor that your career will kind of decide. Your career will also decide the salary that you get. So how much money do you think you should earn to pay for your needs and wants? So later on in this lesson, we're going to talk about needs, the difference between needs and wants, because they are two very different things. Okay, so can your salary pay for the needs that you have as well as the things that you want in life on top of that? Okay, your education as well. How many years are you willing to spend in school? Typically, the longer that you spend in school, the higher your salary will usually be, right? So, for example, doctors, right? They end up with a very large salary, but they have to go to school for a very long time in order to become a doctor. Okay, so how many years are you willing to spend in school? That's another type of lifestyle factor. Time. How many hours a week do you want to spend at work? Do you want to spend, are you somebody who values a lot of free time to accomplish your hobbies and spend time with family maybe? Or are those things not as important to you? Are you able to spend a lot of time at work in order to get a higher salary? Okay. And then there's the environment. What type of space do you want to live or work in? Do you want to work in an office? Do you want to work outside? Who are the type of people that you want to work with? Do you want to work with your friends? Do you want to work with different people? Do you want to work in a diverse environment? What type of clothes do you want to wear? Even that can factor into your environment, right? Do you want to wear a suit and tie every day to work? Or are you someone that wants to kind of make sure you're in casual clothing as much as possible? Okay, so these are 5 different lifestyle factors that your career will help decide. Remember, lifestyle factors are the things about your job that affect the way that you live your life. Okay? So there's 5 different lifestyle factors. Now, lifestyle goals are the things that you want in life. Okay? Lifestyle goals can be anything from family, right? How big of a family do you have or do you want to have? Where you want to live, right? You might have a lifestyle goal of, living in New York City, but your lifestyle factor might not allow that, right? So what kind of a goal do you need to set to live in New York City, right? How much money you have could be a lifestyle goal, right? You might have a goal of making $100,000 a year, right? That's a lifestyle goal. How much free time do you have for hobbies, right? You might also set a lifestyle goal of having a crazy amount of free time to, I don't know what your hobbies are, maybe building a model rocket ship, I don't know. Okay, maybe you like to build models, and that's your hobby. I don't know. Maybe you like to, maybe you're big into frisbee golf, right? Frisbee golf. So you want to have as much time as possible to play that with your friends, right? So these are all different types of lifestyle goals. How much do you value each of these things? If you value one thing more than the other, then you should set lifestyle goals to help you achieve these goals. So for example, you might want to live in the mountains and spend as much time as possible outdoors. Maybe you just consider yourself an outside person. Okay, one goal that you might set is to get a career in recreation, right? Getting a career in recreation is going to allow you to live outside in the mountains maybe and spend as much time outside as you want. Okay, so that's just one small example. You can think of a lot of others, right? What kind of lifestyle goals do you need to set in order to live the type of life that you want? Now there's also things called trade-offs. Okay, some things, like you might have certain goals, but based on your goals, that not all of your goals are going to be attainable, right? So that's where trade-offs come in. A trade-off is a compromise or giving up one thing in order to get something else. So you're compromising in one area to gain a different thing. Okay, so for example, let's say that you want to be a teacher in Wakarusa with a very large house and a very big backyard for your kids to play in. Now, this might not be, maybe it will be a realistic goal, okay, for you to accomplish all of this, but it might not, especially considering that teachers might not make a very big salary, okay, and considering that in order to live in a very large house with a very big backyard, it's going to cost a lot of money. Okay, now, if that is your only goal, like, by all means, you can save up, right? You can, by all means, probably afford that. But you also have to take into account that there's going to be a lot of other expenses involved and things like that. So having a very large house and a very big backyard on a teacher's salary might not be entirely realistic. This is where trade-offs might come into play. Okay, so let's say you accomplish your goal of being a teacher in Wakarusa. Maybe a trade-off could be, instead of a very large house, you live in a medium house with a medium backyard. Or maybe you live in a very large house with a small backyard. Okay, so there's trade-offs here that you can still accomplish your goal of being a teacher, but that you might have to have trade-offs in order to still accomplish your goals. Okay. It's also important to understand the difference between wants and needs. We kind of talked about this a little bit in chapter 2, where I went on my rant about, people who get on their Starbucks addictions and things like that, right? I'm not going to, get back on my soapbox again about that, but a need is something that's unavoidable or necessary to live. You absolutely need it to live. So there's two different types of needs. There's physical needs and psychological needs. Physical needs are basic items that are needed to survive, such as food, water, shelter. These things are basic physical needs that you have to have in order to survive. Okay. Psychological needs then are things that affect the way that you think and feel. These are things that you might not always think about when you think of things that you absolutely need, but these are things like safety, security, love, acceptance, respect, things like that. Okay, so needs are something that's unavoidable that you absolutely have to have in order to live. Wants then are things that you desire. Okay, now wants are not bad by any means, right? They're just not quite as important as things that you need. Okay, by all means, it's okay to want things, right? Some examples of things that could be wants would be like an iPhone. Maybe a PlayStation 5. PlayStation 5 is coming out soon. I have no idea when, but I know there's a big thing with the PlayStation 5 coming out soon. Maybe you want a Ferrari or a really nice Lamborghini or something like that. Like I said, it's not bad to want these things. You just have to make sure you understand needs. Your basic needs should always come first, and then your wants should come second. So then understanding your needs and wants should also influence your lifestyle goals, right? Like if you are somebody that wants a Ferrari, you got to understand that is super expensive and you are going to need a lot of money to be able to afford that. So your lifestyle goal should be one where you have a very large salary so that you can afford a Ferrari, right? All right, so here's a list of different needs and wants. What I would like you to do is pause this video, and I want you to see if you can classify each of these. Go through this list and classify them as needs or wants. Okay? So go ahead and pause the video and come up with your list, and then I'll tell you what I think. All right, so let's go through a couple of these. I'm not going to go through the whole list, but I'll go through a couple of them. Right? So let's first look at this first one, right? Rent or mortgage. I would say that is definitely a need, right? You have to have some place to live. That is, if we go back, that is one of your basic physical needs. You need a place or a shelter to live in, right? So rent or a mortgage is going to be unavoidable. You're going to need to pay to live somewhere. Okay, how about beauty products? Well, beauty products, let's kind of compare beauty products with hygiene products. Hygiene products are absolutely necessary, right? You need toothpaste, you need soap, you need shampoo. These are basic needs, I would say. Beauty products, however, I would say would be more like wants. Okay, I would say you could probably live without beauty products. Okay, Health insurance, okay, probably a need, I would say. It's going to be hard to pay for the things that you need with as far as doctor's visits, things like that. I would say health insurance would be a need. Starbucks, oh, don't get me started. That's a want, okay? Gas and electric, water and sewage, these things are needs. You're going to need to pay for these things when you're older, right? So that you can have running water in your house. You can go to the bathroom in your house. You can have lighting in your house, things like that, okay? Love, right here, this last one, that's an example of a basic need, right? That is a psychological need that I talked about, right? Things that affected the way you think and feel. Okay, so hopefully you're able to classify these as to needs and wants. And then to end things off today, you're going to go on Canvas and post a reply to today's discussion question titled Lifestyle Goals. What you're going to do is you're going to think ahead 10 years into the future and then name 3 lifestyle goals that you have for 10 years into the future. I hope you kind of have some fun thinking about your future, coming up with 3 lifestyle goals that you have. If you have any questions over anything that we talked about, feel free to let me know. Have a good day.